The best dressed people are not on Instagram. Feeling good about yourself is half of the game. I need to understand and acknowledge that, like, my body doesn't look like that. Hey guys, it's Anna, and this is going to be my first sit down video, which I'm super excited about. It's definitely going to be more of a, like, put me on the side, listen in, you know, you don't need to stay watching, treat it as like a podcast episode. I'm just going to be talking. I'm going to talk about a subject that I find very interesting and complex at that, which is the art of dressing as a woman. The secret to being able to express yourself and feel good about yourself, and most importantly be confident, which is something that I feel like I have already heard a lot of people speak on at length. I think there are so many pockets of information everywhere, but it's nice to be able to, if fashion is something that maybe you're getting into and you haven't always been interested in it, and now you're becoming a woman or you're growing up a little bit, you're maturing, and you think that, you know, it's time to find your personal style and dress in a way that makes you feel confident and makes you feel good about yourself. This is the video for you. I wouldn't say I've struggled, but I've had my fair share of experiencing different types of dressing. I think as I was growing up and younger, I've always really been into streetwear, and I've always really been into kind of oversized baggy clothes, but now I'm at a point in my life where I'm trying to incorporate that with a more mature style, and I want to be taken seriously. I want to walk into a room and have a presence. I think that's the direction that this video is heading in. For women who are maybe in their 20s, 30s, whatever age you are, maybe you're just 18, 19, and you're thinking like, you know, I want to start dressing in a little bit of a more mature manner. How can I incorporate a more feminine way of dressing? So yeah, that's what this video is going to be about. I hope in some way it helps you, and always feel free to message me if you do have any more questions, or I love talking about things like this. Like, I could talk about it forever, and the more I grow, the more I learn and hear different people's opinions on things and do research, the more you realise how little you know. And I'm so open to hearing about different people's ideas and their perspective on things, but this is what I've curated. This is kind of my perception at this moment in time. Okay, so first topic of conversation, authenticity. Before anything, you need to understand the role that confidence and integrity play in choosing how you dress. Knowing who you are as an individual and being authentic to yourself is number one, the most important thing you can do. And this might be a case of you having to dive into that first before you even begin working out what you want to wear and who you want to be. Is understanding who you are as a person and reflecting on that. Learning to translate, that is what style is learning to translate who you are into your clothes and into what you wear, which I think is such a beautiful thing. You need to find your steez, you need to find your style, you need to figure out what is authentic to you. Allow yourself to discover what you like. What are you naturally drawn towards? That's what you have to think about. What are you naturally drawn towards? What feels good when you're wearing it? What feels best? What feels right? So a few things I like to do. I think obviously a very straightforward one is doing like a mood board or gathering images from references, or you know, you could use Pinterest, Instagram. That's a very, very simple way. I also think just going out and people watching. The best dressed people aren't on gram, that is for sure. The best dressed people are not on Instagram. Real life. Because whenever I look good, I never have time to take photos. That's for sure. So real life, go and look at people. Look at women and see the presence they have when they walk into a room. Why does what they wear work for them? Okay, point number 2. Tailoring and silhouettes. Let me tell you this. If I can give you one piece of advice disregarding the authenticity and being yourself, it would be get your shit tailored. As a woman especially. I think it is so, I don't want to say it's underrated, because tailoring has always been such a prominent part of dressing. However, I don't think enough people utilize it enough. There is nothing that fills me with confidence more than wearing a clothing item that feels like it fits my body like a literal glove, that hugs my body. There is nothing more satisfying. So I think especially when it comes to things like dresses and trousers and jeans, get things tailored. I hate the feeling. There is nothing worse than trying to choose an outfit and getting frustrated over the fact that things don't fit your body well. And I think as a woman, it can be very frustrating sometimes, because you want to feel sexy, you want to look good in casual clothes, in jeans. And this is where the tailoring comes in, and working out things that fit your body well and adjusting things so they genuinely do fit your body like a glove because they're made for you. Do not be afraid to spend money on those things. I think especially when it comes to jeans and trousers, which we wear most days, I will always vouch for spending some more money and getting things tailored so that they fit you perfectly. You feeling comfortable in your clothes and feeling sexy and feeling good about yourself is half of the game. That is all it is. And these are the things that will completely elevate your presence in a room, because you know that you look and feel good. It's the same way when, you know, you have days when you look really good and you dress up and you're feeling really good about yourself. And I think people are naturally so much more drawn to those who glow from the inside out. But the reason you're glowing is because you feel good about yourself. So it's kind of like a cycle. So, you know, you act and behave your best and work your best most likely when you feel your best. And that is so natural. That is super natural. I know myself. This is the same reason why even if I have days where I'm working from home, I get dressed up and I get ready for work, even if I'm just sitting in my bedroom all day, because I know that I work my best when I'm feeling my best, and it's so natural. And there's nothing wrong with that. This is also where the money side of it comes in, is that spending a little bit more money, getting things adjusted, understand the value that that will have on how you behave and how you act and how you work. Understand the value that will have. You need to also see things as, if I can tailor these pair of jeans and they fit me like a glove and I'm going to feel good every single day when I walk into work, how is this going to affect the way I behave at work? How is this going to affect my work? If I know that I look good and confident when I'm sitting and standing and giving a presentation at work, how am I going to feel? Whereas if I feel bummy and I look like rubbish and I feel like my clothes don't fit and I don't feel confident at all, and I'm frustrated by the fact that there's a gap here and, you know, that this doesn't fit me well, that my waist is loose, that this is too tight, like, you have so many other things to think about. And it just occupies your mind when there are so many more important things that you could be thinking about. So this is where prioritizing how you dress is important, and your presence in a room, and just understanding how it affects your confidence. I think that's super important. And then with silhouettes, this is more a case of understanding your body type and learning what works for you. And I think I can't talk on this too much because it's so different for everyone, depending on your height and depending on your build and depending on if you're curvy or if you're slimmer, you know, if you have a bigger chest, if you have a bigger butt, if you have a smaller chest, smaller butt, all of these things impact. But learn how to dress. And this is the case where I feel like you can use social media to follow people and try and find people, models or influencers or celebrities, whoever that may be, that maybe have a similar body type to you, and look at how they dress and acknowledge if it feels like it's appealing, what works for them, what doesn't work for them, what are you naturally drawn towards for your body type. Because there are so, and I've had to learn this through the years for sure, is learning what works for me and my body. For example, I think some items of clothing work really well on girls that have smaller chests. And then other girls who have slightly bigger chests, I don't think it works as well. For example, let me think of like bandeau tops. Bandeau tops are kind of like, some people call them boob tubes, but like, you know, like a proper top, not just something that covers your breasts. I think personally that they look really good on women who have slightly smaller breasts because it's a lot more comfortable. And for me personally, they've never worked for me. And although I could like go and look at a model on a website and think, wow, this looks so gorgeous on her, I need to understand and acknowledge that like my body doesn't look like that. And that's okay. That's more than okay. But understanding where you're shopping and what the model is wearing and how the model looks, and understanding that that might not look good on you, and that's okay, because there are other things that are going to look better on my body than maybe on hers, and that is okay because we're all different, and acknowledging that is super important. Next point, we're really getting into it now. Next topic, color and texture. Understand the role that color and texture play when you're choosing your clothes. First things first, understand the role that color plays in how you're perceived and what kind of people that you attract. The beautiful thing with color is that we can communicate how we feel without having said anything at all. For example, if I want to keep to myself, I often wear black. I think on days where maybe I'm not feeling my most confident, this is with exceptions. That doesn't mean to say that every time I wear black I don't feel my most confidence. But it's to say that there are some days where I don't want to be loud. I want to be subtle. I want to keep to myself. And for me, the tone of black works for me personally. That might not work for you. And then days where I feel more confident and I want to be louder, I love colours like pink and red. And then at certain times of the year, I also enjoy different colours. Like in the springtime, I really enjoy green. In the summer, I enjoy brighter colours, which is very, very natural, as do most people. Understand the role that colour plays in how people absorb you. For a tone like black or grey, it's very subtle, it's serious, and it could be perfect for you for a place where maybe you have an interview or you have a presentation. It's nice to wear tones where you want to be taken more seriously, when you don't want things to be distracting. Whereas I think brighter colours, and especially for women, I think colours like pinks and purples and reds are very complementative, and they draw more of an attraction because they are seen as more feminine colours. For example, pink. Understanding the role that this plays in also the people that you attract and how welcoming you are. Brighter colours, when I say more absorbing, I think brighter colours are more attractive and they feel more open sometimes. They feel more like, if I was sitting next to a woman in, I don't know, a yellow dress, I feel like I wouldn't be afraid to go up to her and be like, oh, I like your hair, I love your yellow dress, where is it from? It feels welcoming, it feels warm. So understanding, and when I say understanding, it's like, how do you want to be perceived? So for example, if you're single and you maybe are going on a solo date and you're open for someone coming up to you and getting to know you, you might be more drawn towards colours that feel more absorbing of that energy, like the brighter colours, like the pinks, like the reds, like the yellows, that feel more naturally feminine. And I think that's important as well for confidence, to acknowledge that, okay, maybe on some days, on the day-to-day, or Monday to Thursday, I'm going to go for more tonal colours because for me, there are days where I'm focusing more on my work or more on studying. And then when I go out, this is my time to bring out that energy, to be more feminine, to be a little bit more excessive. It's such an amazing thing that we have the opportunity to wear clothes that change the way that people perceive us. And when you start shifting your mindset and understanding that, I think dressing becomes such a fun thing. It's like you wake up in the morning and you think like, okay, how do I feel today? Like, do I want to be approached? Do I not want to be approached? Do I want to be more serious? Do I want to be more sophisticated? And it becomes so much more of a fun thing to enjoy, because that's what you want. At the end of the day, you want things to bring you enjoyment. You don't want things to be a burden. And dressing should be fun. Fashion should be enjoyable. It should be something that you enjoy doing. So acknowledging how these things interact. And as well as that, I think if you aren't incorporating colour, this is where I go on to texture, is don't forget about the fact that we can incorporate texture as well. I think we often forget about this. So if you do enjoy wearing more muted tones, black for example, and you want to be more expressive but you feel like, okay, wearing pink or wearing yellow or wearing orange, it isn't for me, that's okay, cool. Start to incorporate more texture. Start to look for things like maybe knits or linens, whatever it is that appeals to you. Start to shop around for things that still feel safe but are a bit more expressive and a bit more fun. And you'll be surprised at how much this can elevate your outfit and elevate the way you dress. Next topic, modesty. I love talking about this topic. And I think that in order to understand where I'm coming from at this point, I think we have to understand the role that nature plays in how we dress. Most things in life, whether we like it or not, come back to survival, come back to survival of the fittest and mating. And I think that is something that is so interesting about the human race, is that no matter how much we try to make things more complex, no matter how much we try to complicate things and make things more confusing for ourselves and bring in different perspectives and different views, everything always comes down to survival. That is it. Our natural instincts and our DNA write for us to survive. That is what we want. So this is the angle that I take on modesty. And I'm well aware that, you know, depending on where you come from in the world, modesty means different things to different people. For me, modesty is not revealing too much, not having everything on show, having and keeping things for yourself. For me, there is nothing more enticing than seeing a woman in a long dress and it shows her figure, but she's not showing any skin. For me, there is nothing more enticing. I think women look so good. But this is what I mean where I say modesty means different things to different people. So for me, I'd consider that modest, but for a lot of people, maybe showing your body and showing your shape isn't considered modest, and this is where you need to just go and understand what that means for you. Coming back to mating, is that understanding that we want things more when we can't have them. And there is nothing more sexy than a woman looking good, but you can't see everything. And naturally for men as well, that's what they want. That is what is enticing. You know, if a man can see a woman and see like, oh, she's dressed well, he wants to see what's underneath. That's very natural. That's okay. But I think, again, going back to how you're attracting people, understanding that how you choose to dress attracts a certain type of person. Again, that's okay. That's natural. So this is the same with the color. If I go out in, you know, a very short dress and maybe my chest is exposed and it's super short and my legs are exposed, I know personally that a certain type of man is going to come up to me, that a certain type of man will be enticed by me, that a certain type of man will want to, you know, ask my phone number or want to, you know, whatever, get my Instagram. So that is why I choose not to dress in certain ways, because I think I want to attract certain people. And in general, even with women and with friendship, this is not always to do with, you know, a man and a woman, but this is also to do with like the kind of people that you attract. I judge people by the way they dress. Whether you like it or not, it's natural. We're human beings. We judge people of the way that they dress because we acknowledge the fact that the way you dress reflects who you are as a person. And this is something that we need to get to grips with. There's no point in denying it. How you dress is the best insight, without having said anything, into who this person is as an individual. I know that I may be more drawn to a woman and to befriending a woman if she's dressed in a certain way. I don't think showing too much is fun. Like for me, I don't find it fun. I like the idea that I'm a little bit more covered up, that not everything is on show, and that people can use their imaginations and think what's underneath, but it's more enticing, it's more attractive. And I feel good when I feel attractive. So understanding the role that modesty plays. And there are times when sometimes we want to have more of a presence, that you might go out with your girls and maybe if you're single, you know, you are open, as I said, to a guy coming up to you or looking more attractive and being in that mood, a flirtatious mood, and that's supernatural. Sometimes because of that we want to have more on show, but it's understanding the correlation between that isn't necessarily moving you in a positive direction, and acknowledging, as I said, the fact that this is altering the kind of man or the kind of person that is going to come up to you, and acknowledging that they're going to be on a certain level, on a certain energy of what they want from you. Understanding that. It's very simple. It's nature. If you're wearing less clothes and more is being revealed, a man is going to look at you and think of you in that way. And that is okay. Like, you know, it's natural. It's very natural. You know, at the end of the day, as I said, when I'm going back to nature, people think about mating. When a man can see you for who you are, when a man can acknowledge you and think this woman is beautiful without everything being on show, he's more enticed by her, he wants to get to know her. He has a sense of having more respect towards her. And that's something that I've definitely acknowledged. And in changing the way that I dress, I definitely attract a different type of clientele, attract a different type of person who's coming up to me. Whereas before, maybe when I've dressed in a certain way, it's more, the kind of person is definitely a lot more toxic masculine rather than a positive masculine man, for example. Okay, last point. So my last point would be, I need to wrap it up because hopefully my camera's not going to die, is, which I mentioned earlier, my last point is, or topic, is acknowledging the difference between day-to-day dressing and weekend dressing. I'm gonna call it weekend dressing, but what I really mean is that going out, getting a bit more dressed up, going to an event, going to a party, going to a wedding, something that requires a little bit more pizzazz, a little bit more je ne sais quoi, you know what I mean? Like a little bit more effort, you want to feel better, it's an elevation. So for me, what's worked for me is like figuring out what clothes are my day-to-day that I feel confident and I feel good in, and then what clothes work for me for the weekends, for a restaurant, for a bar, etc. And not putting too much emphasis on those clothes that you wear during the week, that you wear on the day-to-day, but knowing that you feel good and you feel confident in them. For example, for me, my day-to-day clothes when I'm in the office, when I'm going to work, when I'm working from home, when I'm going to the gym, when I'm running errands, they're very much like, they're very similar. If you catch me on Monday to Friday, like I'm most likely wearing very similar clothes. I'll either wear like a straight leg tracksuit bottom with a zip up top or a hoodie or gym wear. And I feel good and I feel confident in those things. And most of the time I am wearing more muted colors. I'm wearing black, I'm wearing maybe like a blue, khaki, quieter colors. And that is okay, like that works for me because it means that I have separation between getting more dressed up and not having to put in effort every single day, and feeling the difference and being excited for dressing up, being excited to put on a pair of heels, to get dressed up, because you can't pull a fit every day, you can't look good every day, you can't have your best fit on every single day. It's not possible, I'm sorry, it's not. Working out the difference between what are your day-to-day clothes and what are the clothes that you're going to wear at the weekends. You know, what do you feel most confident in every day? What could you wear every day? What could you wear 3 days a week, 4 days a week and feel like, you know, I still feel good in this? For me, that's like a tight little gym top and leggings when I'm running my errands. Never get bored of it, always wear the same thing. That's okay for me. I'm not trying to impress anyone, I just want to feel good in myself. I want it to be practical and I want it to be comfy. That is my top priority. And having that separation has helped me so much when it comes to also saving those clothes, not wearing them as regularly, so that when I do get a bit more dressed up, I'm excited. I'm like, oh, I haven't worn my leather trousers in a while because I don't wear them on the day-to-day. I'm excited to put these on. I haven't worn that cute little tight top. You know, those kind of things, understanding that and acknowledging that it's okay for there to be a difference. I think that's super important. I think it's super helpful to help you shop as well. Acknowledging that, okay, I'm going to have these certain clothes that I'm probably going to wear quite a lot over and over again, which is good, great, let's be sustainable. And then I'm going to have these clothes which are going to be more for going out, that I wear less regularly. So yeah, I think that's all for today, guys. Let me know what you think. I'm really interested to have like conversations about these topics. As I said, I'm always learning, I'm always growing. I'm so interested to know what people think, if you disagree, if you agree with me. Like, I'm genuinely really interested to know why as well, not just like, you know, I don't agree, like, why do you disagree? Like, I want to know why. So yeah, let's have a conversation about it. And thank you for watching. And also, if you have any other video suggestions that you'd want me to do talking, sitting down, let me know. And apart from that, have a good week and I'll see you soon.